So, parenting tip number 28 is from my book, Mama's Gotta Let Go: How to Let Go Without Losing Your Sanity. So, parenting tip number 28 has to do with words of advice, right? I'm always asked in interviews, what is the best advice that you can give parents? And I don't think there's just one parenting tip because, as you know, this is parenting tip number 28. I hope to continue recording these tips, and my goal is to do 100 parenting tips and use that as another book. So, regarding advice, let me just read to you. This is on page 10 of my book. Do you ever notice that, like this to do list that we have, right, only leads to sleepless nights, endless nagging, and just a lot of kids who experience mental breakdowns, or they're just having so many struggles that as parents, you feel the need to say the right thing, to inspire them, to really motivate them, right? Or to just make sure they do that, what you think they should do. A lot of moms, grandmas have been sharing. I just want them just do what they need to do and just stop not listening because when they don't listen to me, they suffer. Well, guess what? To me, my advice is that your job, this is my belief. Not everyone will agree with it, but your job is not to make your child's journey smooth. Your job is just to guide them and support them on their journey. And will they make decisions that you don't agree on? Definitely. Will you disagree with a lot of the choices that they make? Definitely. So, this is what I wrote. There are no words of advice when it comes to guiding our kids on their personal journey. That sounds really weird, right? What do you mean there's no right words? Key word is right. I find that the best lesson I've learned is to lecture less and instill an ultimate faith that your kids know without a doubt that you believe in them. Because our kids know, right? I've been told, you know what, it doesn't sound like you believe in me, or I think you're telling me that what I'm thinking is wrong, which can really not do well for your relationship with your kids. So you either choose whether to be right or whether to nurture your relationship. So they will always look towards us, right, for approval, unless they're in that rebellious stage where they do the opposite of what you suggest. And we just need to give them a reassuring hug. If you're not a hugger, a reassuring smile. And tell them, even if you don't believe it at the time, tell them in a really sincere voice, you know what? You'll figure it out on your own and everything is going to be okay. Because even if you think things are not going to be okay in the long run, when my husband Thomas found his dad in the yard dead from a heart attack and he was 20 years old, at the time he thought, I can't handle this, right? But he did. When my dad died unexpectedly 4 years ago, I really didn't think I could survive. And here I am. We really have to believe that our kids, no matter what struggles they go through. I just interviewed a parent coach, Kim Minch, and she shared that her son is 10 years sober. You can imagine what a hard ride that was as a parent. 5 kids. She was a teenage parent for her first child and raised 5. So, really believe in your child and know that their journey is not your journey. Let's say that again. Your child's journey is not your journey. You are not responsible for making sure that your child does the right thing. You can guide them, but there comes a point where they need to learn natural consequences. So, my latest mantra to Chelsea, this at the time was last year when I was writing this. She's often filled with anxiety. Well, at this point, it was a couple years prior to me publishing the book. And it was during her sophomore year. She had episodes of running to the bathroom, throwing up, and telling me that she couldn't go to school because she was too sick. And this happened again and again and again. So even with acupuncture, even with chiropractor, even with therapy, I just had to accept that Is this going to ever end, or will she be okay? Well, my mantra was, no matter what happens, you'll be fine. And you just got to keep saying that and make yourself believe it, because that is really hard, right? Because deep down, you know that your way is probably the best way. So being a teen is challenging, but when you're susceptible, like my child, my teenager was prone to emotional meltdowns, and parents see them as minor challenges. But to your child, when they have a mental breakdown or they are unhappy because of what you consider a small challenge or obstacle, it's catastrophic to them, right? And the smallest worry can appear to them like they're drafted into war without any courage, without any training, any weapons, and they just feel like their world is literally going to just explode. So teens often believe, right, their world will fall apart if they see a failing grade. Why? Because they'll be getting lectured from their parents. Or they have no one to keep them company for lunch. If you're alone in the class, in the cafeteria, to them, that's like going into the battlefield alone. So lectures about negative consequences or sharing how tough you had it so that they should be really thankful, it doesn't really help your child feel better. We've all done that, right? I've told my kids, you guys are so lucky you have Google, because in my days, we had to go to the library, look at the card catalog, and if the library book wasn't there, then we didn't have the resource. But with Google, I mean, I'm always really promoting Google to be their best friend. So this week, my parenting tip number 28 exercise is practice letting go by asking yourself, are you taking things personally? Remind yourself, like I said before, your child's journey is their journey, not yours. Will their failing grade, will their disrespectful behavior, or negative consequences, will they matter 5 years from now? Probably not. I look at the failing grade that Chelsea had on many tests, even on a second quarter report card grade, which I thought was just so catastrophic. She ended up graduating cum laude. She ended up, blossoming during the pandemic. I mean, it was very odd. She didn't feel like she got ripped off by not having a traditional graduation. She felt less stressed. So, give your child credit. You did a great job raising them. And I've done major mistakes, which is why, it inspired me to write this book, Mom's Gotta Let Go, because I had to let go of tons of mistakes that I've made. But give yourself permission to let go of your personal judgment as well as the judgment of others. I had a lot of people judge me. You got to take your phone away. You have to take privileges away. You have to teach her that she needs to finish her homework. She needs to make sure she studies for SATs. Well, if my child is throwing up and really struggling to just get out of bed, by taking away her phone, which I did, I listened and I practiced all, took all suggestions, and she still threw up. The thing that's actually helped her heal, I mean, enlightening moment in my life was when I let go. I actually said, you know what? If you don't want to go to school today, don't go. If that's what you think you need, that was the hardest thing as an educator to say. Don't go to school. It's not the end of the world. If you don't want to do homework and you think it's jeopardizing your mental health, maybe right now you just need to take care of your mental health and the academics will fall into place. Total opposite of how I was raised. I was raised to just academics is the top priority in life. My dad wrote in my first Mother's Day card, Happy Mother's Day. This will be the most important student that you'll ever teach. Major stress. And I think that's why I put so much pressure on myself, right? That my daughters were the most important students, and it was up to me. If they didn't learn the lessons that I taught, then I was a failure as an educator and as a mother. And that was a lot to carry. So I'm just sharing my personal journey. And this parenting tip, number 28, really, I hope resonates with you, because it is just so difficult, I think, to cut that umbilical cord and trust that your child will be okay. And they will be. You're okay, right? And sometimes if we don't feel okay, you really are okay. You're perfect. And your child's perfect exactly the way they are. And tomorrow will be parenting tip number 29. Bye.